Welcome back to Mind Pump TV, guys. I'm your host, Danny Matrenga, and today I want to show you one of my favorite bang for your buck exercises, the Renegade Row. I love this movement because not only does it work core stability, shoulder stability, it also gets your glutes a little bit. It really works your lats, and anytime you can get a global movement like that that works a lot of muscles at the same time, you're gonna get a lot of your bang for your buck in the gym. And I'm all about that, and I think a lot of my clients are about that, and I know your guys' time is valuable, so I wanna share exercises with you guys that have a lot of carryover to a lot of different things. So, why do the Renegade Row? How do you do the Renegade Row, right? So, the setup for the Renegade Row is relatively simple. It's actually just like the setup for what we would call an extended plank. So an extended plank is basically a push-up position plank, right? I have my scapula packed. I'm not in excessive protraction. That can actually be bad for my shoulder. I'm in a nice, comfortable position. I have a somewhat soft elbow, so I'm not hyperextending. My tailbone is actually tucked underneath me. That's gonna help me engage my glutes. And I'm keeping my rib cage down, which helps keep tension throughout the rectus abdominis and braces my core. If you guys wanna know more about how to plank properly, we did a video about this a while ago. I'll put it right here. Those are the same cues that I want you guys to have when you're holding this position. So from that extended position, we're just gonna go up onto dumbbells. Now, ideally you'd use hexagonal dumbbells that aren't round, because this roll is a little bit dangerous. I think you guys will be fine if you start with a modest weight, but if you have the option between hexagonal or round, go with hexagonal, or at least something that has that flatter edge. So from that extended position, right, feet go out, tailbone is tucked underneath me. From here, I should feel tension through my abdominal wall. If I'm too far out in front of the dumbbells, like this, or I'm too far out behind them, like that, and my hips are hiked, you're not gonna feel it too much in your abs. If you're right over the top so that your torso and clavicle are directly in line with the middle of the dumbbell, you're gonna be able to tuck that tailbone and feel the abs. From here, I'm focusing on rowing, alternatively, left to right, with minimal deviation, right? I don't want my torso to move. I don't want my hips to move. A lot of lifters you'll see do this and rotate. That's fine, but I think you get a little bit more out of the core when you actually resist rotation than if you initiate the rotation. And when we talk about making this as big of a bang for your buck exercise as possible, I would definitely recommend slow tempos, resisting that rotation, letting the lats pull in and the core stabilize on the way down. Now, if you want to level it up, you can do what a lot of people do, which is they'll do the right, they'll do the left, they'll add a push-up, and then they'll repeat. That's a typically performed Renegade Row, right row, left row, push-up, repeat. And then you take that exercise, it already works the lats, it already works the biceps, it already works the glutes, the core, and now you add chest, shoulders, and triceps into it. So it's darn near total body, which is pretty awesome. So guys, in terms of doing this exercise right and wrong, it's actually a really simple exercise to do. The hardest part for most people is to just get the plank position locked in, right? You're always gonna use a relatively modest weight relative to like what you could one arm row. So you're not gonna let it get away from you by picking too heavy of a weight. You could, I guess, but that's something I want you to avoid. Getting that plank down, that's the main piece. After that, we can talk about like regressions. So for example, if the first example I showed you guys was too hard, something you guys can do is take the other dumbbell and put it from a unstable position to a stable position, right? And you can go into a Renegade Row like this, or you can actually just ditch that altogether and do it like that. So that's a simple regression if you're having trouble stabilizing. Maybe shoulder stability, wrist stability, elbow stability is a limiting factor for you. So that's something you could do. Just obviously make sure you get both sides. And if you want to progress it, I find that the safest way to do this is just by simply adding some additional time to the lift. So lowering it more slowly, right? I actually prefer to do that before I jump in weight, because again, those small incremental jumps on an exercise that's difficult like this, where the limiting factor is probably your stability versus your like strength of your lats, find that if you jump up too quick, you might ruin the exercise in the sense that it becomes more about moving the weight in the row than it does about holding that position and all of the pieces. As for how many sets and reps, anywhere between 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 rows per side is probably more than fine. This can be a standalone exercise at any point during your workout. It's a great activation exercise prior to like something like maybe a deadlift. And it's also a great finisher if you're doing an exercise and you want to hit your core, but you also want to finish up some other stuff. So a lot of carryover and a lot of versatility here. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe, like, comment. Tell me one of your favorite core exercises that you don't think enough people do. We go through the comments a lot, not just to answer questions, but also to get ideas for future videos. So any type of engagement is appreciated. Thanks a lot, you guys. Have a good one.